Hello, welcome to Dungeon Joe's podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're doing a special double feature review because I don't have a lot of time left, so I have to marathon these movies. Right? So we're doing a double feature of Man with the Iron Fist 1 and 2. The first one is directed by RZA, also starring RZA, who from the famous rap group Wu-Tang Clan, which is heavily inspired by Shaw Brothers films, and he's a huge kung fu movie fan. And it should be no surprise that he would eventually star in his own kung fu movie. So this movie, like I said, is written and directed by RZA, also co-written by Eli Roth. And there are people who say Eli Roth that there was some trouble with the studio, that they didn't like the movie, so they had like RZA take over as not RZA, sorry, Eli Roth from the Hostel films take over as the film director, because like the action scenes were not very good, which, in my point of view, I would have rather he had stayed and they just tell him, hey, more wide shots, more wide angles, because the action scenes, like throughout the movie until the very end, where they kind of fixed it, is like very close up, very like just like not very shot. It's the thing where like you can tell what's going on, but it's the thing where it's very close up, very fast action and gory, which lots of blood. Which I like that it was very fast and gory, right? But it was the thing where it was the camera was too close up to the actors, so like you had like, it would have been nice if it should have been shot way back so you can get the whole view of what's going on, right? And I noticed like problems here and there where like where 1 second our character, two people would be fighting and they would be like, they would step back like across the room from each other, and then like next second they're right in front of each other. No scene where that you saw them run up to each other. No, they're right up, like exchanging blows again. So it's like, what the fuck? But I'm cutting in a little. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, right? The movie stars RZA as Thaddeus Henry Smith, though he's just called, most of the time he's just called the Blacksmith. You also have Rick Yune as Zen Lee, aka the X-Blade, which I thought that name was a little dumb, but which he's called the X-Blade because he has this suit of armor that he wears, where like it shoots out like knives and blades and stuff, which kind of makes no sense because like, where are those blades popping out of? Like your body? Like how can they just shoot up straight up? But like, yeah, let's not like question how shit works in like a kung fu movie that's obviously inspired by like Shaw Brothers wuxia films. You got Russell Crowe as Jackknife, Lucy Liu as Madame Blossom, the Madam of Pink Blossom, which is a whorehouse, which they kind of look. I'm pretty sure they looked down upon those back in, well, I'm guessing that since they have revolvers, this is like 18th century, not 18th century, 19th century China, around there, 18th or 19th century China, not 19th, maybe like 18th. I'm not 100% sure when revolvers were invented. I think it was in 18th century they were invented. Dave Bautista plays Brass Body. Jamie Chung plays Lady Silk. Kung Lee as Bronze Lion. Bryon Mann as Silver Lion, which Bryon Mann, I think we've reviewed a couple movies with Bryon Mann. I don't remember which ones. For people who don't know who Bryon Mann is, he was Ken in the Street Fighter movie. And he plays a very what do you call it? Some people would say very flamboyant character in this film. In Corey Coleman's words when this movie came out, he was very he gave a very gay performance in a good way, I guess. And you have Daniel Wu as Poison Dagger, though you're not supposed to know who that guy is, but you never find out his name. So. Zuzu as Chi-Chi, who only has one scene in the movie. Also, you got cameos from Gordon Liu as the Abbot. You got Chen Quan Tai as Gold Lion, which I'm assuming, I'm assuming this is a guy from the Shaw Brothers era. You got Zhu Jing Lao as Copper Lion, Kelly Liu as Iron Lion, and you got MC Jin as Chan, which I could tell right away this guy was some kind of rapper by his voice. Also, as the Geminis... Oh, fuck, sorry. As the Gemini killers, Grace Hyung as Gemini female and Andrew Lin as Gemini male. Which those two characters were probably some of the cooler characters in this movie. So what this movie is about is basically you have RZA, who's a blacksmith in this village in China called Jungle Village, which in this village you have these rival clans against each other. One of the head of these clans is the Lion clan, which is ruled by Gold Lion, who was given a task by the governor to protect the Emperor's gold while it was in Jungle Village, right? And his subordinates, Silver Lion and Bronze Lion, betray him, kill him with the help of with the help of Poison Dagger's help, and Zen Li, who is Gold Lion's favorite son. I don't know if they said he was his actual son because he has like adopted sons, but we're assuming he's his biological son, who just eloped with this woman, promised to marry her, promised to never leave his side. Immediately has to leave because he hears his father was murdered, so he leaves immediately to go and to avenge his father. RZA's character makes weapons for the Lion Clan, who's now being run by Silver Lion, right? And this creates tension because he feels bad that his weapons were used, that weapons he made were used to start wars and kill people, right? Rick Yune's character Zen Li gets in a fight with Brass Body, which is Dave Bautista's character, who's like an assassin working with Silver Lion. It gets injured, falls through the roof of Pink Blossom, and they meet, and is saved by RZA's character, who our characters find out about this, and they cut his arms off, right, and leave him for dead. But like Russell Crowe's character Jackknife, who's this opium whoremonger Englishman with a special knife, with the special mechanical knife that can spin, like it has a gun attached to it. At one point you see him, like, it turns into like a chainsaw, and like Buzz cuts this fat dude, right? Who was being like a bit too grabby with a whore, which that's what you're supposed to do with the whore. Russell Crowe's a gentleman apparently, so he sees it. He saves RZA's life, and RZA apparently was a part of the Shaolin or whatever, and was taught how to use chi. So he has Russell Crowe help him to make new hands for him, new fists, which is obviously inspired by the Crippled Avengers. If you ever seen the Crippled Avengers movie, creates new fists, and he can control the fingers with chi, right? And RZA, RZA's character Jackknife with Russell Crowe and Zen Lee team up to take on the Lion Clan, right? And the Lion Clan is working with Madame Blossom, who's the owner of Pink Blossom. Turns out she's a kung fu master as well. Called Black Widow, betrays the lions. They have this huge fight, and our characters go in the fight Brass Body. Well, RZA fights Brass Body, Jackknife fights Poison Dagger, and Zen Lee fights Silver Lion, right? And there was also fights and stuff I forgot to mention that happened throughout the movie. So, like I said, the best part of this movie is if you're a fan of old kung fu movies and even newer kung fu movies, there's some really cool costumes and characters that use like cool, unique weapons and stuff that you don't really see in a lot of movies nowadays, right? Like most movies, they use like generic weapons. Here, it's almost like a fighting game where everybody has their special costumes, themes, and like different weapons that they use, which was really cool. The problem with the movie is the dialogue here and there is pretty awful. I'm not gonna lie. There's some really cheesy lines, right? There's some really cheesy lines. I don't even want to say them. Though I thought the acting throughout the movie was good by the different characters. Like Daniel Wu as Poison Dagger, who's barely in the movie. His acting was great. I loved his voice that he uses. It's a very dubbed sounding voice, which is why Daniel Wu is also a voice actor because he's very good with his voice, and it just sounds like something from like an old kung fu movie, right? And I fucking love it. It would be nice if that guy would voice act in like season 3 of Kingdom when they do the English stuff for that, which I don't know if they had already, right? Which that would be awesome. And Russell Crowe, though I thought he was a little too fat for the role, was like he was okay, he was great. The only problem with the acting is like RZA, not a very good actor, but sorry, he's not in the movie that much, right? And I should mention the Eli Roth directed action scenes. There was a lot of like the fight choreography, in my opinion, got worse because there was a lot of weird direction, and there was like the CGI stuff. There's a lot of slow mo, like CGI isn't like CGI blood. Where in like the RZA directed fight scenes, they were real blood. So I kind of did not like that, and like did not like that, and like the CGI slow mo stuff. The fight scenes where our characters fight their nemesis, their different nemesis, were really short, right? Which I did not like, to be honest. Like the Zen Lee versus Silver Lion scene was very short. So was the Jackknife versus Poison Dagger. The only of the final fight scenes that were somewhat satisfying and was actually done well was when RZA fights Brass Body. So like, yeah, this movie has its problems, but I really enjoyed this movie. Not only did I go up to see it in theaters, like I think I saw it in theaters like twice. I could be wrong. One by myself, one with a friend, and I even rented it on Xbox Live when it first came out, which I rented this movie today. Did not, again, fucking YouTube would not let me. I paid for HD, which HD was the only option, and there was no HD, it was only at 480. God damn it, YouTube, you need to fix that shit. But I don't know, I'm saying this movie, even though a lot of people don't like this movie, I enjoyed it, and I kind of wish RZA had stayed as the director. Because I went to see the director, I looked up the director of the second movie, and it's some like straight to DVD action film director from the Holland or whatever, and he did the really shitty Death Race sequels, which the first Death Race wasn't the greatest, but fuck, dude, like Death Race 2 was fucking terrible. There was only one Death Race in that movie, and that's at the very fucking end. Oh my god! But yeah, so this movie, I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. I think its strengths outweigh, it's some of the bad shit. Though I'm not a fan of like rap being used in action scenes, but if you're, well, a lot of people are a fan of that, because of the Afro Samurai and stuff like that. So I'm not a huge fan of rap in action scenes because I don't think it fits as much as people think it does. Maybe if it was some Danny Brown, but like Danny Brown, not the guy who was married to Whitney Hughes, but like this is different. He's a different guy. He's like a newer rapper. Alright guys, that's it for today's review. Peace.